Hello! How's it going? Don't mind the wedding stuff in the background. It's a little busy back there, but that's okay. Today, we're going to go over order of operations. I think this is going to go into page 21 in your notebook. I'm going to double check when I get to school tomorrow, and it'll be typed out correctly on the playlist. So, double check the playlist. So, with order of operations, a lot of us in the past have heard of, you don't have to write this down. A lot of us had heard of PEMDAS, where the P stood for parentheses, the E stood for exponents, the MD stood for multiplication and division, and the AS stands for addition and subtraction. And that works for what you guys have had in the past. We don't like to do PEMDAS in middle school. We like to do GEMDAS, where the G stands for grouping. And I'm going to show you on the notes what I mean when I say grouping. So when you think PEMDAS, we're going to try to get rid of PEMDAS. We're going to be thinking about GEMDAS now, okay? GEMDAS. So the G, like I said, stands for grouping symbols. This means that I have this group of stuff that I have to do before I can do everything else. And there's a few different kinds of grouping symbols that you guys will see. Parentheses. You guys will definitely be seeing parentheses in 6th grade. Brackets and braces. You won't see them in 6th grade, but you will see them next year as 7th graders. You'll see them as 8th graders. You'll see them in high school. Absolute value bars. Yes, we've learned about that this year. You will see absolute value bars, and that's a set of grouping. I have to do the math inside my absolute value bars before I find that absolute value, what that number is. A radical symbol or a square root symbol. Again, you'll see that next year as 7th graders. And then a fraction bar. We've also said that the fraction bar is also what operation? A means division. But sometimes you're going to have math on the top of the fraction bar and math on the bottom of the fraction bar that you'll have to do before you can do that division in the middle. So all these different things are different kinds of grouping. Next, E, we have exponents, which we've just been working on. There's 2 reminders for your exponents. If you have 5 to the 0 power, any number with an exponent of 0, what did we say that was equal to? Any number to the 0 power is equal to 1. It could be 5,000 to the 0 power. It's equal to 1. 1 to the 0 power is equal to 1. Any number to the 0 power is equal to 1. 5 to the first power, any number to the first power is that number. So 5 to the first power here for this situation would be 5. These are just important reminders that they have for us. If you want to use some of my highlighters in the tubs to help you sort these out, to help you remember. G is for grouping, and that's the stuff up here. Because y'all know highlighters help, that's why they're on your tables. That's all grouping stuff. E is for exponents. MD, why are multiplication and division on the same line? Why do those go together? Yeah, multiplication and division are on the same line because we do them left to right. We do multiplication and division all in one step. We just work going from left to right. Multiplication and division. A few reminders with multiplication and division. There's a lot of different symbols. There's a lot of different symbols for multiplication and division. So this first one that we see here, those are absolute value bars. But if there's no operation, if there's no adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing symbol between 5 and one of those absolute value bars, that means multiplication. That means multiplication when it's just side by side with something. 5 with that raised dot and 3, that's a multiplication dot. If it's below, it's a decimal, but up there, that means multiplication. We all know that the X means multiplication. Parentheses also mean multiplication. And then we're going to see this more later this year. When it's side by side with a variable, there's nothing in the middle. That's just math people being lazy, but it still means to multiply. So you could see any of those 5 different things for multiplication. Then here, for division, we have this slash, 15 divided by 3 like that. You'll still see every now and then this division symbol with the 2 dots, but you really don't see a whole lot of that as you get into higher levels of math. We're going to add one more down here that you will see a lot more of. And again, that's the fraction bar. This is another way to represent a fraction, but this fraction bar also means division, and you're going to see that a lot more as you're getting into higher levels of math. Lots more. And then the last bit, again, it's on the same level because we do addition and subtraction at the same time. We just work from left to right. It is important that for multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction, you're going from left to right. Because if you're just doing random multiplication, division within the one problem, you're going to get a completely different answer. You've got to make sure that you're working with those operations, that you're going from left to right. So again, what that means is here, 12 plus 15 minus 3. Here, addition comes first. So I would add first because I work from left to the right. Down here, the subtraction would come first because I work from left to right. The subtraction would come before the addition. Because, let's see what happens. 2 plus 15 is 17. And then 17 minus 3 gives us 14. We work left to right. Over here, again, if I work left to right, if my my addition subtraction signs are switched, 12 minus 15 is a negative 13. Negative 13 plus 3 gives us a negative 10. We get different answers. So make sure that you're working from left to right. I can't do this addition and then subtract because I don't get the same thing. We have to work left to right. Go ahead, pause the video if you need to. Go back, replay anything I've said so far, catch up, make sure you've got everything written down. Otherwise, if you're good to go, we have 3 practice problems. So this first problem, we have 2 squared plus 7 minus 3. We've got to make sure we're going through and doing our order of operations. What is the order of operations again? GEMDAS. I'm going to grab a sticky note, and if you need to borrow a sticky note from me to help you go through and do this, be my guest. With every problem, I'm going to write out GEMDAS and cross it out as I go through and I do that. So G, grouping. Do we have any grouping symbols here? There's no parentheses, brackets, braces, no absolute value, no grouping symbols here. So we can cross out our grouping symbols, nothing there. What does the E stand for again? Exponents. Do we see any exponents here? Yeah, we have 2 squared for our exponents. We got to do that first. What is 2 squared in expanded form? 2 times 2. What is 2 times 2? 4. So here we've got this 4 from my 2 squared. Now I have to make sure I bring everything else down. I've got to keep that. So now my problem becomes 4 plus 7 minus 3. Is there any other exponents for us to deal with? Nope. We can go on to the next step. Multiplication and division. Do we have any multiplication or division here? Nope. So our last step, addition and subtraction. Do we have any addition or subtraction? We sure do. And what direction do we have to go in? We've got to go from left to right. So that means what are we doing first? First, we're doing 4 plus 7. I know a lot of students like to draw those arrows to help them see these are the numbers I'm working with. This is what I still have left over. And I like that. I'm going to do that too. What is 4 plus 7? 11. Then I have to bring down my minus 3. What's 11 minus 3? 8. So here we get that our final answer is equal to 8. Very important that you're showing your work here. Very important you're showing your work here. Please use your scratch paper. Please use whatever paper and pencil, whatever you've got when you're doing practice problems, whenever you're taking the test. Very, very helpful. Let's go on to our next one. Our next one's a little bit longer, but that's all right because we're going to write out our steps. We're going to write out our GEMDAS to help us. Oop. Pretend that's an A. All right. So first G, grouping. Do we have any grouping here? No grouping in this problem. We don't have grouping in any of these down here for these examples, but don't worry, you're going to be seeing some soon. Any exponents here? Yes, what exponents do we see? We have 2 to the 4th power. We have 2 to the 4th power. What is that in expanded form? Not 2 times 4. We multiply 2 4 times. So we have 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Remember, we're multiplying here. There's no adding. There's no adding. People are trying to add when we're going through this. Always multiplying with our exponents. So let's simplify this out. 2 times 2 is 4. And another 2 times 2 is still 4. So now we've got 4 times 4, which is 16. So that means that this 2 to the 4th power is 16. And then I gotta make sure I bring everything else down. So I've got 2 minus 15 plus 3 minus 16 now. Minus 16 now. Are there any more exponents in this problem? Any multiplication or division here? Nope. But don't worry, you're going to be doing some practice problems with me where you do see some. So now we're just going through doing adding and subtracting in what direction? Left to right. 2 minus 15. Ooh. 2 minus 15. What do we like to turn those subtraction problems into? Addition. We like to keep 2 the same, change subtraction to addition, do the opposite of the last number. So it's the opposite of 15? Negative 15. So now I have 2 plus negative 15. Same sign, add, different sign, subtract. Are these numbers the same or different signs? They're different. One's positive, one's negative. Different signs, subtract. So now I have to do 15 minus 2. What's 15 minus 2? 13. And is that going to be a positive 13 or a negative 13? Why? Negative 13 because negative 15 has more value. It's further away from 0 than 2. So now we have negative 13, and we got to bring the rest of this down. Negative 13 plus 3 minus 16. Oh man, I bet y'all are excited for working with more negatives, because now we need to combine negative 13 plus 3. Negative 13 plus 3. Same sign, add. Different sign, subtract. Are negative 13 and 3 the same signs or different signs? Different, so we subtract. 13 minus 3. What's 13 minus 3? 10. And is it going to be positive 10 or negative 10? Negative, because 13 is further away from 0 than 3. That means there's more negatives than there are positives if we're using our counting chips. And now again, we have to bring down this last bit. So we have negative 10 minus 16. And that looks gross. What do we do with our subtraction problems? Turn them into addition. So now we're going to have negative 10 because we keep our first number the same. Subtraction changes to addition, and 16 becomes negative 16. So now we have negative 10 plus negative 16. Same sign, add. Different sign, subtract. Are these two numbers the same signs or different signs? They're the same. They're both negative. Same sign, add. So I'm going to do 10 plus 16. Let me do that in black. 10 plus 16 is what? 26. And a positive or negative 26? Negative 26, because both of my numbers are negative. All right, one last problem. And right off the bat, you see there's going to be some negatives in there. So make sure you go back here if you need to see these examples. Practice changing subtraction to addition. Sing to yourself, same sign add, different sign subtract. Go ahead, pause this video. Try it out all on your own. If you have questions, raise your hand. I'll be more than happy to help you. Good luck. Did you do that whole problem on your own already? That was kind of quick. Pause the video, double check your work. All right, last one. Going through GEMDAS. Let me write it all out. Grouping, any grouping? Nope. We have one exponent. We have one exponent. We have 6 squared. What is 6 squared? 36. So now I have negative 2 plus 36 minus 8. No multiplication or division, just adding and subtracting, and I have to work from left to right. Negative 2 plus 36 should give me a positive 34. 34 minus 8 is going to give me a positive 26. Any comments, questions, or concerns on that, please let me know. Otherwise, come to my table. We're going to do some more practice problems, ones that make sure we have multiplying and adding, ones that make sure that we have grouping symbols. See you soon.